The anchor leg of this long relay race has arrived, leaving only a couple of weeks left in the 2021 season. Fortunately, late season hunting over a good food source is one of the highest odds games you can play. Knowing this to be true, on the afternoon of December 27th, Jared Mills heads back to the Beanfield blind at the river farm.
Alright, it's December 27th. I've got Gavin with me this afternoon. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. I did get out for a quick hunt on Christmas Eve on a different property. I had a pretty solid hunt. I saw a couple of 4-year-olds. I was in there by myself. I did a little hanging hunt. I actually got to watch one of those 4-year-olds breed a doe, and that's the latest I've ever seen in person. Buck breed a doe, and I don't think I got it on camera. I haven't went and looked at the footage, but it was back behind me in some brush. I'd heard a bunch of commotion, some chasing and grunting. It kept getting closer and closer, and through the binos I saw this buck breed a doe, and I couldn't tell through the brush if it was a doe fawn or an adult doe, but pretty dang cool to see this time of year. So I had a solid hunt. But we're back in here tonight on the river farm, back in this redneck that I moved in a few weeks ago, and of course going after Marino. This is the spot we encountered him from first, and then the following night he was in bow range of this. And tonight's wind has been really windy all day. Got a west-northwest that's pretty much died down for the rest of the evening. But a west-northwest should be okay until the deer almost get past us. When we got winded that first night, whether it was by him or the other deer he was with, it was pretty much a north-northwest, so obviously you can tell we're cutting it really close. But this is about the wind that I had set this blind up for, and I noticed coming in here, the deer hitting these beans pretty hard, especially back towards that end, so I'm hoping that'll keep a lot of the deer up at this end of the field. We should see some deer tonight. I don't expect much movement until late. It's almost 3 o'clock now, so settle in and maybe tonight will be the night. you see him okay?
Yeah.
Might have to stand up on top of me. Can you see?
Yeah, okay.
Just can't see good enough. Well, on today's episode of Let's See How Marino Gets Away This Time, it was a couple things tonight, but ultimately what led to saving him was darkness. He took too long to get back in bow range, and I was full draw on him, and I so badly wanted to pull the trigger, but one, I knew we had to be getting close to legal shooting time without pulling my phone out of my pocket and checking. I knew we were close to that. But two, I just wasn't comfortable. I was full draw. He was at 30 yards. I had my 30-yard pin on him. But when it gets dark like that, especially when you're inside a blind, it's hard to tell exactly where on the body. You're kind of looking at a dark blob and trying to center. You can't pick out like the shoulder or anything like that. So ultimately, I just did not want to make a bad shot on him, and that's why I didn't pull the trigger. It's painful. I keep playing it over and over and over again because I so badly wanted to let that arrow fly. But hopefully, we'll get another chance. The other thing where we kind of messed up, this was one of those hunts that I'm sure the video is not going to do justice. There's just too much going on to really capture. But there's one spot I was staring at all night, waiting for Marino to pop out of. We were set up for that spot, and as the night rolled on and rolled on, there was hardly any deer coming out of that spot. Everything was coming out to our right, and we were getting into crunch time, and I thought I got a glimpse of the 6x6, which is another shooter that I would have shot, and he started working his way that way. So I was like, man, all these deer are coming on this side. Gavin, let's make the switch so we can film and shoot out of, because the thing that you probably can't appreciate as a viewer just watching the video is there's basically two ends that the deer can come out of, and when you're trying to film as well, you can't just set up and film everything. You kind of have to pick which way you want to orient the hunter and the shooter, or the hunter and the filmer. And so I ultimately made a decision to switch because that's where all the deer were going. That's where the 6x6 looked like he could have maybe come out at. Well, right after we got done switching, Gavin and I both looked out the window that we now had pretty much closed up except for one little crack. Looked out, Marino was right there. He had to have come from the spot I was just staring at for 3 hours. Of course, like basically the last deer in the field. And so it was almost too late. Anytime you have that many deer around you, it's hard to make that much movement without making something nervous. We had deer within 10 yards of the blind. Now I think that's what happened, is we were trying to get that window down. It was all fogged up, trying to switch positions, and probably made some deer that we couldn't see nervous on the other side of the blind. And that made Marino nervous enough to trot off with the two does he was with. Trot off to probably 50, 60 yards, and then it became an antagonizing waiting game. The clock's ticking, daylight's disappearing. He's slowly working his way back, way back, and he got to within like 22 yards, I think. And I came to full draw and kind of made a little noise, and he bounded off a few more yards. So he's at 30 yards. Obviously, again, easy bow shot, but I just could not get comfortable with letting that arrow fly, based on what I was seeing through my peep. I'd come out of my peep, in my peep, out of my peep, and just couldn't get comfortable, and obviously knew it was close to legal shooting time as well. So ultimately, I just let down. We watched him feed for a long time. We stayed over an hour and a half past dark, just waiting for him and some of the other deer to work off. I did watch him work off, and as far as I couldn't see him anymore, we waited another 10 or 15 minutes and then tried to sneak out of there. Man, it was a painful painful night to reflect on, knowing that we were that close. But that's how it goes when you're hunting a deer like this, and I haven't convinced myself yet to get aggressive and move in there and do a hanging hunt. He's still coming to that spot. He seems to be coming from a little bit different directions. So that's the risk you take on trying to do a hanging hunt further in there, is that he takes a different route, and there's just a lot more risk involved with regards to bumping deer going in. So playing it safe and staying at the spot that he's wanting to ultimately get to is what I've been doing. So there will be a time for sure, if this keeps up, that I'll move in there and go all in. But right now, I wouldn't say I'm just hanging back. I'm still at the spot where he ends up wanting to be. But I know I also can't get away too many times making an 8.5-year-old plus deer nervous like that. You know, it's not going to last. So hopefully we can get it done. It's I was joking with Gavin. I get tons and tons of messages about the need for me to just take the muzzleloader out there and end the story. And tonight's hunt is not going to help my case for sticking with the bow for sure, but I just can't bring myself to do that. So we'll keep after it. We'll see if we can eventually win this battle.
Back in Iowa for their final stint of the year, Lee Abraham and his wife Emily head to a blind, hoping for the opportunity to finally fill a tag on their farm.
That's a bigger deer. Is that big? This is a bigger deer here. That 10 point right here. I see that 10 point right in front of us. Yeah, he's really big. He smoked him. What's he doing?
He's going down. He's going down.
Emily ultimately places her tag on a beautiful 6.5-year-old buck, finally breaking the ice on the farm for the 2021 season. The following afternoon, Bella Reed continues her pursuit of the elusive home farm buck called Patient X.
Mike's running a little bit late, getting out of work, so Bella and I are trying to sneak in the blind here. And Mike's got to meet us in a little bit, so hopefully we're getting in early enough and hear our now. See, we got some snow yesterday. Should be a good evening. It's Wednesday, December 29th, and Belle and I are back out on the home farm. We're in the same blind. We've made 3 sits in so far. We had a snowstorm come through yesterday. Temps are in the teens, and it finally feels like late season. I ended up getting stuck at the office a little longer than I wanted, so Rye went and picked up Bella from the house, and they slipped out here and got in the blind, and I just drove in and came meet them. And right 5 minutes before I got here, they had some does and fawns come out, so I just barely missed my window to get in here before the deer started moving. But I snuck all the way up to the blind, up this hill, and one of the fawns, spotted me and bounded off, and the deer followed her. So hopefully, they don't really know what happened. They'll work their way back out, but it is the earliest deer movement we've had on this plot so far this year, 3:30 or so. So it's about 3:45 now. We've got an hour and a half or so. And we got Patient X's picture this morning back in the turnips at about 5 a.m. So I'm hoping that he's bedded not too far, and he'll get up on his feet and move into the beans here before it gets dark on us. Well, we almost pulled it off in our haphazard way. I think the wind was swirling a little bit on us. It's supposed to be blowing north-northeast, which just cuts the corner of this plot off. And I was watching the way the snow was blowing. I mean, we had it blowing at one point. It was blowing south, and it blew southeast, it blew straight east. And when patient X first came out behind that doe, it was blowing true. And but he was on high alert. I mean, all the deer that have been coming out right here have been on high alert. And they're hearing noises. There's all sorts of stuff going on in the neighborhood, and they just are really on alert. And he was at 62 yards, which is just a little bit far for Bella with this crossbow, and she was having buck fever, as she said. And I was hoping he would just relax and work his way a little closer. That doe got to 40, but it just didn't work out. I think the wind swirled on us, and he actually blew and ran back into the timber. So
I wish the doe and patient X could swap places.
yeah, that would have worked out pretty good. And the deer are still coming out. I think there are 10 of them out there right now. We ended up seeing, I would say, 25 or so deer. I mean, this weather change is what we needed, so we're not going to have the right wind for this blind for a couple more days, so we'll give it a rest and we'll hunt somewhere else, but we'll stay after him, and hopefully we can catch up with him before the season ends.
Also hoping to end his season on a high note, Jared Mills is heading to a new farm with hopes of changing his luck.
Just standing there. The deer just walked right into the beans, right in that corner.
Right there.
Yeah. Just probably feeding in the beans now. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. I think there's a deer standing right there, too. There's a deer feeding right there, too. What the heck, dude? Alright, Grant and I are getting a little wild tonight, kind of an impromptu ground hunt. We're coming in the hunt down here, trying to find a tree to do a hanging hunt, hang 2 stands in. There were 3 separate groups of deer feeding, just kind of milling around. And that pretty much prevented us from getting to any of the potential trees I was thinking about hanging in. We decided to just get in this brush. There's some tall grass here, some down logs. See if we can get lucky tonight. I'm on a separate farm. I didn't have a good wind to hunt Marino tonight, so I plan on definitely shooting a doe if she comes by, but there are a couple mature bucks in this area that I would also shoot. So we'll see what happens. We're gonna have to get away with a lot. Obviously don't have a ghillie suit on or anything. Ghillie suit's in the truck. Didn't expect to be hunting from the ground, but hopefully we can at least get away with it. I think our wind's cooperating right now. If we can at least get some deer out here and by us. There's a lot of deer in here, so that'll make for it challenging, but if we can get some out here feeding and relaxed, I like our chances of at least getting a shot on a doe. If nothing else, it'll be a fun hunt. I got Grant tucked in back there. Like I said, it'll be exciting. We'll see what happens.
While Jared's field fills with deer, 120 miles to the southwest, in central Iowa, Kaleb Greiner and his girlfriend Casey are heading out for their first hunt of the late season.
Welcome back, guys. It's December 31st, New Year's Eve, and Casey and I are sitting here in the blind down at Lee's farm. His family actually came the past week, and they've been putting some management bucks on the ground. They've killed a buck every night that they sat, so pretty exciting week so far at the farm, and there's still plenty of bucks that we need to take care of. This one that we're in here after tonight is just a really bully looking 8-point. He's got a split brow, and he's been here pretty frequently throughout the year, but just another really good 6.5, 5.5-year-old buck that Lee wants taken off. So that is the goal. Casey's got her bow with her today. She's first up to bat, so I'm going to be filming, and I've got a bow and a late season tag as well, so I'm going to be spending the rest of the week, the next 6-7 days down here, just trying to take care of some doe management and some bucks. And I think Chad, Holmes, and Max are going to join me on Monday as well. So conditions are fair. We've got a big front coming through tonight, and I think we're supposed to get about 7 to 10 inches of snow. So should make things pretty interesting. I know the temperatures are going to drop off big time tonight, down into the negatives. So should be pretty darn good hunting the rest of the week. So it's going to be a fun sit, and we're just going to enjoy the evening.
Switch chairs just in case he does come back in that lane. We'll have time to switch back if he comes. If he's acting like he's gonna come towards us, then I won't shoot him. Oh, what's that one? That's a big bodied one. Alright, this is him. This is him. He's coming. He's the one in that opening right there. Can you turn the GoPro? Oh wait, no. Yeah, that's him. I'm gonna take him soon. Got it? Yeah. Alrighty. Alrighty. Get on him. Get on him. Ready?
Oh, you hit him.
Dude, I think he dropped right there. Are you sure?
You hit him, he kicked.
Did he?
Yeah, he donkey kicked.
Let's go. I might have got a little skunk nose. I think I see him up there. I might have got a little skunk nose. Yeah.
Well, it's about 5 o'clock, and we just, I think, might have punched our tag for the night. The original plan was Casey was going to be set up for the bow. But this one of these cold bucks, though, one of these tight 10s, just was clear out in the distance, and he wasn't going to come in. Man, the last couple of days, I came in here and mowed some more corn, and it looks like they've been just feeding on these edges of these corn. It's crazy how fast these deer feed these cornfields out, but boy, that was fun. I think that's the first deer I've ever shot with you. It looked like a pretty good hit. It looked like a mule kick, so we'll see, but probably just going to enjoy the rest of the evening, and we'll go look for bud here soon.
With a now empty gun, Kaleb and Casey sit back and watch the remaining deer feed around the field. Back with Jared, the bean field is loading up with hungry deer.
Well, I said, if nothing else, it would be a fun hunt, and that's exactly what it was. There's just something about being on the ground, being that close to the deer. I mean, we had deer within 4 or 5 yards of where I was sitting, and Grant was a little further back, but just coming out, feeding in those beans. At one point, I think we had probably 50 deer within 80 yards of us. So it's so intense, and it just makes for a fun hunt. And I didn't end up even trying to shoot a doe just because it felt like one of those nights where a shooter was about to step out. More and more bucks kept coming. They kept getting bigger. I thought for sure we'd see something mature, but never did, and never got a shot at a doe, obviously. But that's all right. It was fun getting out, fun hunting with Grant. Now it's just waiting. The snow's supposed to start tomorrow morning. It's supposed to get dumped on, and frigid temperatures to follow. So that is what I'm banking on to get after Marino again. I don't think I'll get out tomorrow night with the snow and high winds, but the following day should be ideal conditions, those conditions that you really wait for late season, and the type of conditions going to get every deer up and moving. So I think that's the plan right now. That'll be the next time we get out.
Back in central Iowa, Kaleb takes up the blood trail.
I'm pretty sure I do, but let's go see up here for blood real quick. You see him? Right up there. Didn't even go 60 yards.
Oh, yeah. Good shot, dude.
Let's go. I want to see how the blood trail was. Well, the deer that never bled. It's just Casey and I down here. Colton's coming tonight or tomorrow. So we're gonna have to take care of this deer ourselves, and then we'll probably get him out in some better light tomorrow. We'll see. All right, guys, it's a couple days after we shot this deer, and boy, what a change in weather we've had. The night after we shot this guy, we had 20-30 mile an hour winds all day, and it was snowing all day as well. Yeah, as you guys can see, we got a few inches of snow piled up back behind me. Overall, man, what a roller coaster this season has been. I've been self-filming basically since the beginning of October, and I've had a lot of opportunities at some really good deer, and just couldn't get it done. It's kind of been a struggle this year, but boy, I'm tickled pink just to have an opportunity to come down at Lee's Farm and take care of a couple bucks that we were trying to get out of here. But going forward for the rest of the season, Max is going to join me tomorrow, and I believe Chad Holmes is going to come down as well. I'll be filming Chad for the next few days, trying to get after a few does, and there's a couple management bucks still left, and I think Max is going to be doing the same. So as always, thank you guys for watching Midwest Whitetail, and I hope to see you back next time.
While Kaleb is soaking in the reward from a season of hard work, 170 miles to the north, Bella Reed is hoping for a chance at her target buck. As light quickly fades, Mike and Bella catch a glimpse of Patient X, but darkness closes the curtain and spares the buck for another day. January 1st arrives, bringing cold temps and a fresh blanket of snow. With nearly perfect conditions for late season hunting, Mike Reed heads to the river farm looking to see what bucks will be out feeding.
Happy New Year, everyone. It is January 1st, 2022, and Ryan and I are actually set up down at the my piece on the river bottom. Bella decided she wanted to take a break. She did not want to come out here in this weather, and we actually, my family, we went down to our cabin for the weekend, and the home farm is about an hour from here, and we have quite a blizzard blowing through Iowa right now, and basically didn't feel like it was safe to drive back up to the home farm tonight for a hunt. We're sitting over an 8-acre standing bean field. I mean, I put this giant food plot in and fenced it, and it's pretty cool that we have all this food down here. I'm excited to see what shows up. Who knows what could have moved in here during shotgun, and so I'm excited. This is my first sit of late muzzleloader, and I actually brought the muzzleloader with me today. It's, I think, 14 degrees with a real feel of -5. We got a really brisk north wind. It's supposed to snow till midnight tonight. And we've probably got 3 or 4 inches on the ground already. It started snowing this morning around 8 o'clock. And the main mature deer that I know is in here, and I actually would like to get out of here this year, is that big 8. We've talked about him a few times. We filmed him back in November. And, he has definitely been in this food plot over the last couple of weeks, and in the central timber and the other section of bean, so he's around. I don't know that I'm ready to pull the trigger on him now. I still kind of want to take my chances and maybe see what moves in here, or see if that Daggers buck didn't jump across the river to the beans on this side, or, you know, kind of survey over the next few hunts and see what I got. I think we will be able to get Bella out one more time tomorrow for Patient X, and hopefully we can make it happen. But then she's back in school, and so Ryan and I will be grinding it out with my last tag, and hopefully we can make something happen, but we'll see what comes out tonight. Open this window. Try to get a better look at some of these here. That the 8? Could that be the big 8?
I don't think so. I'm not saying it's not, but well, maybe. That's him. I mean, it has to be him almost. It could be a 7, I guess, too.
It looks like he has G3s on both sides.
That's what I thought, but
that was a pretty awesome sit. Ended up having another 15 to 20 come out that last hour. A couple good bucks in there. One of them I thought might have been the big 8, but I just couldn't really tell. Pretty far, it was like 200 yards or so in this low light, so ended up seeing, you know, I think altogether probably 50 plus deer, and a bunch of the 3 and 4 year old bucks that we have pictures of out here, so it's good to get some footage of them and lay eyes on them and see that they're still healthy this late into the season. Looking forward to doing some shed hunting out here this year with all this food out here. We're gonna go, like I said earlier, I think tomorrow we're gonna be targeting the home farm for Patient X with Bella, and then we're gonna keep grinding. I think I'm gonna spend some time out here at this farm the rest of the week and see if we can't catch up with one of these bucks.
Well, on today's episode of Let's See How Marino Gets Away This Time, it was a couple things tonight, but ultimately what led to saving him was darkness. Painful night to reflect on, knowing that we were that close. But that's how it goes when you're hunting a deer like this.
That's a bigger deer.
We think good.
You smoked him.
I guess I'm looking at how big that is.
Well, we almost pulled it off in our haphazard way. He was at 62 yards, which is just a little bit far for Bella with this crossbow, and she was having buck fever, as she said.
Ready?
As the late season nears its end, the hunting is now completely at the mercy of the weather. Witness high pressure and cold temperatures and you will likely see every deer that calls the area home. Witness warm days and you may not see anything. This is the reality that we face for the remainder of the season. Bucks are staged in specific areas and remain there until they run out of food or are pressured into leaving. We can only dream of the sweet days when the hardwoods run thick with rutting bucks. We will see those days again, but not for 11 months. It will be that long until we are once again chasing November.